Today we will create a simple contacts app using SQLite or SQLite and Sketchware Android. So this is an example app and a tutorial about using SQLite in Android. What is SQLite? SQLite is an open source SQL database that stores data to a text file on a device. Android comes in with built-in SQL database implementation. SQLite supports all the relational database features. SQL or SQL is abbreviation of structured query language. And you can find these codes on GIST. I will provide you link. There is another link for the original article on tutorials point. So you can visit GIST to get all these codes in some detail. Now let's get started. First of all, create a project, add icon. First of all, go to GIST and we have a file here. Click on raw, select all, copy, back to the project, Java, click on plus icon, class, enter exact same name, db helper. Now remove these, paste your code and remove that duplicate package name. Keep only your package name. Here we have some constants, database name, table name, column names. If you want to change these, you can change them. If you want to add more columns, you can add, and if you want to remove, you can remove. Then we have a hash map variable. Here we have this constructor. After that we have auto-generated methods onCreate and onUpdate. After these we have insert contacts method. We use it to add new data to the database. If you want to add more data, you can add more arguments to this function and add more lines like these. Then we have this function get data. It will get you data by ID. It will return one row. And then we have this function number of rows. It will return you a length of data, which means if you get your data in the list map, what will be length of that list map. Then we have this function update contact. If you look carefully, for inserting you don't need an ID, but for updating you also need an ID because it will add data to that particular ID. Then we have this function for deleting data. In our case it is contact. It will delete it by its ID. And then we have this function get all contacts. Check out the spelling, it is not correct, but it is correct. Okay, so this first function will get your data in a list string and second function will get data in list map. Now I will design a simple UI because my main focus is not the user interface. My focus is functionality. So here in the onBind custom view, we will show data such as name and number, and on list item selected, here we will add a number variable. We will pass that number variable in an intent. And we will add another activity for showing the details. In the onCreate of main activity, we will add a string, call it extra message, set message, and you also have to add a custom variable type db helper. Spelling should be exactly the same, and name could be anything. Add source directly, mydb is equal db helper this. And to show data in the list view, we need a list map. So I will add a list map and assign it value of mydb.getAllContact is 1. This function will return a list map. I want to create options menu, so I will add those two events on create options menu and on options item selected. Now in the on create options menu, I will add this code in ASD. That option is for adding new contacts, so we will pass 0 in the ID. Now I will add few edit texts for entering and viewing the data. Instead of placing a lot of things here, we will create a more block and simply call it from the button. Now, in the onCreate, I am going to paste a lot of things, but don't worry, I am placing all these things on the guest page. You can copy them from here. All AST codes used in the tutorial can be found on this page. We will create a custom variable dbHelper_myDB. In the onCreate AST, we will initialize it. MyDB is equal new dbHelper this. So here we will add a number variable. Let's call it value. And I am doing a few things. You will understand them later. And we are getting that number variable from intent. We have passed it in the key ID. Adding comments is important to help others understand your code and remind you also in the future what your code does here. If value is greater than 0, that means we are viewing a contact. So I will disable all edit texts that user cannot enter anything before switching to edit mode. And also we will get data in a cursor object and then show it in these edit texts or text views. And yeah, don't worry about these codes, you will get them all in the guest page provided link in description. And after that we will also check if rs is not closed. Let's just close it. Here I am adding few events which include import, on options menu create, and on options item selected. Here we will add import statement, and then I'm creating options menu. I will add separate item in separate ASD block. Now we are defining on options item selected. We are creating a switcher, and in the case you have to type exactly same thing which you have added as the title of that option. On clicking edit contact, we will enable edit mode. And on clicking delete contact, we will show a dialog if user click yes. If user choose to delete, the contact will be deleted. Now I will define my more block, which I named as run. So basically it is capable of doing two things. Either it can add new values or update existing. When I tried to compile, I found out I had syntax errors in the main activity. So I went to main activity on create and added the new keyword which I was missing. And I remember I also had other errors. These were just spelling errors. So I have fixed them. And looking back into the errors, I also forgot to add a number variable, so I have added that. And after fixing all of these things, when I compile the app, we finally have a running app which utilizes power of SQLite in Android offline 100%. So this is just an example. You can make other apps similarly. You just have to understand basic concept and the syntax. So go ahead, do experiments with it. And yeah, it was still not opening correct contact when clicked on the list item. So I found out I was passing wrong variable here. So I have replaced it with correct variable. Now at least it shows correct contact. Edit is correct contact. And delete is correct contact. Yeah, it is not refreshing on the correct time if you press back button. But if you close and reopen the app, it does refresh. And also you should implement some mechanism to check values if they are not empty, because adding empty values can make your app a little bit buggy. Yes, you can fix that problem and refreshing issue also. I don't have time to make videos on these. Our video is already really long and I have to work on other projects because I have recorded this video before completing my downloader library. So I have to work on that because that is more important for me and for users also.